That's why 70% of the infections come from phishing, because phishing, and do you know, also many people still get trapped or get hooked by the Nigerian prince or Niger, that where the people spend the money, but it's still working in 2024. It's like crazy, right?
It
But
does.
and I did some investigation. It was so funny.
Hi, I'm Kyser Clark, and welcome to The Hacker's Cache, the show that decrypts the secrets of offensive security one bite at a time. Every week, I invite you into the world of ethical hacking by interviewing leading offensive security practitioners. If you are a penetration tester, bug bounty hunter, red teamer, or blue teamer who wants to better understand the modern hacker mindset, whether you are new or experienced, this show is for you. Hello. Welcome to the Hacker's Cache. My name is Kyser Clark. I have over 6 years experience in cybersecurity, and I currently work as a full-time penetration tester, also known as an ethical hacker, and I'm here to help you grow your hacking and cybersecurity knowledge. Today, I have Albert Corzo, who has over 22 years of experience in tech and IT. He currently works as a cybersecurity project manager and does freelance bug bounty work on the side. For certifications, he has the EWPTX, the PMP, that's the Project Management Professional, Security Plus, as well as a lot of other related training. He is also the host of the Coffee and Pizza podcast, and that's kind of how me and him got together. He asked me to be on his podcast. I'm going to be on episode 19, so if you want to check that out, definitely check out the Coffee and Pizza podcast, and that is coffee so the ampersand pizza podcast. So if you're looking it up, I will put the link in the description of this episode. So definitely check that out if you want to hear more from Albert. So Albert, thank you so much for taking your time and doing this episode with me, and I'm looking forward to our discussion. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and walk through your background.
The first thing is like, thank you very much, because you did a very good pronunciation for my surname, but it's not easy for you. Then congrats for it. And the second thing is like, thank you very much for the invitation. For me, it's a pleasure always take my time or share my time with a professional like you, because you are a full inspiration for many people, because the people can hear a podcast in the 19, because it's full inspirational, because I believe your background and your story can be useful for many people, and that's very make me very proud to have the opportunity to share that time with you. And if you want some highlights from me, I hacked the government, United States government, a couple of times, and I started as a professional or cybersecurity for accident, because one of my favorite things to do is hacking. I started with 16, and I started hacking some companies around the world, because when I was younger, doesn't exist a platform like Hack the Box, Try Hack Me, or something like that. And the only way to do it is like doing illegal things. And that's what I did. I get trapped for that word. And I started to collaborate and stay with many, we can say, in the gray line, understand what the criminals are doing and what tools are using. And this is one of my area of my expertise. And something you mentioned that I tried to get the last certification, because also it's important. We can discuss about that if you want during the episode. But it's important to have some certifications, because most of the companies are looking for professionals but need the certification. And cybersecurity is a question of confidence with the other person, right? And the certification always give you the paper, like, okay, you are able to do like that. Same when you are driving a car, you need your license, something like that. And that's it, Kaiser. I don't we can discuss more about that later then.
Yeah, so thanks for walking through your background and introduce yourself a little bit there. So one thing that really stuck out to me was you said you hacked the government a couple of times, the U.S. government a couple of times. So can you can you explain like what that is and like how that came to be and like how did you end up doing that and just give me the whole story on how that happened.
Yeah, I was always working in the same I mentioned you before, in the gray hack side, and always try to understand how the criminals are working, because after my 20 years of experience, give me the opportunity or give me the knowledge to know how the criminals are working, what is the vectors of enter to the companies, how the companies always is taking care of the of the things or the things inside of the company most of the time, and then gives the way to understand the wide vision, to understand how the companies are working and where is leaking most of the time security things. Most of the companies have a huge teams of developing teams, server security teams, and whatever. But when you have experience like me, you can go and find holes or forgetted things, we can say, most of the companies are taking, right? And that's one of the reasons of I found inside of the government website is like, when you have a bunch of subdomains, always you miss something, you forget something, or you miss like authentication, or maybe you failing in your how you trade your files. Maybe you are exposing your HCC passwords, or maybe you are exposing your something of that don't to need to be exposed, right? And that's something easy if you know where you need to go to do it. It's like a cherry picking, we can say, but most of the times it's easy for if you have the experience. It's totally legit because I did do it background BDP program, and I believe if someone wants to start and want to understand how the companies are working and something like that, first of all, always I say, understand how the companies it's working in the background. What things do you have? What is the platform do you have behind, and everything. And after that, move to try or maybe try your skills inside of platforms like a background or try hack me. Sorry, this is not a bug bounty program. Like background, integrity, hacker one, or most of them, because this is give you the possibility to understand the real world. Many times when you are playing with the platforms like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box or Pentest Labs or Burp Suite or these kind of platforms where you are training your skills, you don't have web application firewalls. You don't have most of the EDRs, most of the security things most of the companies are having today. Then it's important to try your skills inside of the real world to see what is happening, right? And same before I was mentioning, you important to have certifications. It's important to have certifications, but also it's interesting if you arrive to some job offer and also you have some if you have some BDP programs in the Hall of Fame, something like that, we will help you to push because show to the company you have experience in the real world, and that's important for many companies.
Yeah, I can see that 100%, especially with these training platforms. Like you said, they don't have the defenses in place. They're vulnerable on purpose, whereas a bug bounty program, it's not vulnerable on purpose. So you have to dive a lot deeper to find a bounty. So with bug bounty hunting, so you do it on the side. It's not your full-time position. So how much time are you spending on bug bounties? And do you have like on a schedule, or do you kind of just do it like, all willy-nilly, or it's like, hey, I just feel like diving into a bug bounty on this particular day, or do you like kind of schedule your time on bug bounties? Like, how do you approach bug bounties even though you have a full-time position in project management?
Mhm. That's a really good question. Thank you very much, Kaiser, because most of the people always is trying to do some bug bounty program, something like that, and don't know how to approach, right? The first thing is understand the scope, because maybe you are doing something not legit, and that's bit can make you not a hunter, like make you in a criminal, and no one to no one want to enter the jail, right? Then when you understand the scope, first of all, the first thing always try to my main problem when I go to bug bounty is I lose my focus, because always I find many things, and always I try to go to somewhere. I try to go to somewhere. I move to another one. When one vulnerability is hard for me to find it, I move to another. Then that's why I prefer to sometimes to do platforms like Try Hack Me or Hack the Box or whatever like that, because it make me the keeping focus of the follow the pattern, and you need, and finally it's better for learning. But bug bounty always can be your playground, because if you take bug bounty as a professional job, it can be hard and frustrating, because most of you need to understand you are fighting against one of the most professional cybersecurity around the globe. Then that's the first thing. And the second thing is like, that's my point. It's paid with peanuts. It's sad, but it's the truth. and with maybe for you need to take a P3 maybe can be XXS storage, and it's a difficult one. Some companies will pay you, I don't know, $200, $300, but for find this vulnerability, maybe you need to pay past the WAF, and this is not an easy thing, right? Maybe you spend it in this rabbit hole, whatever what you prefer to say, maybe 2 weeks, and $200 for 2 weeks, I believe, is not a big money for many people, right? And then when you understand how the companies are working, and the first thing is try to understand where are you going when you're reading the scope. After that, understand how the companies are working. First thing, most of the times, try to find some subdomains using Subfinder or some tools, or Cell 99. You have a website or I forget the name. I don't remember. It's a platform where you put a domain and you get all the subdomains, and you start to see what is happening there, right? That can be a good approach. And also you have many broken authentication. This is easy. You can create a double account. You create your own account, like Albert in my case, and I make an impersonalization of Kyser, and I have or Albert 1, Albert 2, and you try to access to different points with a different with where I can give you an example. If you have a possibility to do a read a billing you have from your platform, and Albert 1 have access to this billing to download the PDF, try with Albert, not with Albert 1, and see what happens. Maybe you can able to download it, and this is a vulnerability, it's a P3. So, this is a problem in the platform, and you need to use it, because ever the company it's bigger and you have more platform, it's difficult to handle the access to the positions, or the access to the files, or the access to the options, because most of the people forget JWT token is not an authentication token, it's authorization token. Then it's authentication, but most of the times used for authorization. Then this authorization gives you the access to the companies. Then if someone wants to start inside of Bounties, like you first of all, you need to understand, and this can be your playground at the beginning, and a real world playground, because that's a very funny thing. It's always funny for everyone can say I hacked the NASA or the government of the United States, right? That's funny, but it's a good playground. And the first, try to understand how the companies are working with subdomains, how it's using the subdomains, why it's using the subdomains. Try to find all websites. Maybe you are able to find some WordPress forget for someone because it was created someday for something, and no one is taking care about this WordPress today. Or try to do broken access authentication, try with different accounts and see what happens, right? That's a good approach to do it. If someone wants to do it, you have a lot of videos on Berkshire, right, where you can learn it. And if someone wants to learn more, we can talk about my platform, Cyber Mentor Institute, or maybe contact with Kyser, because you can see the degrees here and the certification he have behind. That's not something someone give to him for free, right?
Wow. Yeah, thanks for that detailed explanation on bug bounties. So, yeah, I always say, like, I want to get into it. I just, for me, it's like, it's hard to find a time because I got my full-time pen testing job, and then I'm trying to spend a lot of time making content, and then I'm trying to spend a lot of time getting more certifications, and then spending time on Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, and the Portswigger Web Academy. So it's like, I just can't squeeze it in. Maybe once I graduate college, I try to finish my master's degree. Maybe I might start dabbling into bug bounties. That's kind of my goal. But it's always good to know, like, bug bounties is like a real world playground, and eventually I need to get away from like the labs and go into those real world playgrounds, like you said. So it's really good advice.
And also remember, maybe many people get frustrated because maybe you report your P3 after 2 months, after 2 weeks working behind the scenes trying to find the stored XSS, and you send it to the platform, and after that you get like, this is duplicated, right? Can be very frustrating for many people, because I have experience and I know many people inside of a bounty world, and I know bugs reported 2 years ago and still there, XSS stored. And I always say, who is the guilty if someone have the exploitation of this vulnerability? The owner of the platform, or we don't know, right?
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to tell you about my new Cybersecurity Insider List, where you get raw, unfiltered cybersecurity advice, tips, and hot takes, plus exclusive first looks at my content delivered directly to your inbox every single week. No fluff or spam, just valuable content. Head over to kyserclark.com/newsletter and level up your cybersecurity knowledge today. Once again, that's kyserclark.com/newsletter. There's also a link in the description. All right, now back to the show. All right, before we move on to the next topic, we need to go into our rapid fire question round. So, are you ready for the rapid fire questions?
I will try to do my best. Can you remember me the rules?
It's really a low threat, and just say the first thing comes to your mind, and we'll don't explain them, and then we'll get the opportunity to explain one of your answers at the end. So, for those who don't know, for those who are new to the show, Albert will have 30 seconds to answer 5 questions. If he answers all 5 questions in 30 seconds, he will get a bonus 6 question unrelated to cybersecurity. It's the only way to get an off-topic conversation going is by winning the challenge. His time is going to start as soon as I stop asking the first question. So here we go.
Let's go. Shut.
Albert, blockchain, yay or nay?
Yeah, always.
What was your first computer?
Commodore 64.
Is it okay to get into cybersecurity just for the money?
Of course it is.
Is compliance equal to security?
No.
Do you think biometrics are secure?
No, of course not.
That might be the best time. That was 24.8 seconds. That was really fast. So that was really good. So congratulations on getting the bonus question. So here is the bonus question. You can explain your answer as much or as little as you want to. And it's a heated topic with certain people out in the world. Maybe not everybody, but with some people who have strong opinions on this one. And I'm kind of curious if you even have one. You might not even have one. So here it is.
Okay.
Should the Oxford comma be mandatory?
Okay, then if you want, I can explain like the security is not the same of compliance, we can say.
Oh, okay. So you don't want to answer the bonus question?
I prefer not.
Okay. Well, you can. Okay, yeah, we'll just pass it. Okay, so let's dive into.
Because I want to hack your mind.
All right, yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and dive into: is compliance equal to security? You said no. Why do you think compliance isn't equal to security?
Because most of the companies are doing only compliance for the insurance coverage. It's not. But so always I mention that the people forget we are not taking care of computer. We are not taking care of data. We are taking care of people. That's many companies forgot that. If someone stole your data from your company, can duplicate your identity, can stole you all your money. How many people not listen stories before of someone or I don't want to use this word, but because it's so hard, but we can say have a depression or something like that because have a hacked or something like that for the company, for the problem of the company, because doesn't really take care of the security of the company. And that's the dangerous thing, that no one is taking care about that. And you are only taking care about, no, I need to cover these points and these points. And I understand you need to cover some points, but the first thing is like you need to understand how the criminals are working. Because as you know, Kyser, 70% of the tax is coming from phishing today in 2024. How can be like that? In 2024, the people still get it hooked by phishing. That's terrible. Why? Because the companies do no. I do the course or whatever to my company. Yeah, but the people inside or your security team understand how the criminals are working. No, because most of the people have the OSCP, have the certification like you, whatever. I understand this is a very, very, very good point for understand how the criminals are working. That's what I did during these years. Is like stay inside of criminals, understand the tools are using, understand how it's using this tool, for why it's using this tool, where it's using these tools, how do you need to use these tools. Because okay, if I store your data in a SQL injection or something like that, or whatever, I take the data from somewhere, or I send a phishing and that person download software or something like that, and I hack the company. Okay, you get the information, you get the data. What are you gonna do with this? Sell it somewhere. It's easy to sell it. It's not, because if you sell it, you can expose in your identity. How you can sell it? You need a broker, a data broker, often. How you find out a data broker? This is not easy thing. That's why most of the companies, like many criminals companies, are finding always a new blood. Because if you find a new people, you have don't put always the eggs in the same basket. That's the same. If you find more people working for your company, it's easy for you, because you sell the data. Okay, you find someone can do this for you in the deep web. Okay, and you get the money back. What are you gonna do with the money? You need to do this money laundering, right? How do you can do it? It's not easy. Depending on the amount, if it's $1,000, it's not a problem. But if you get 300,000, what are you gonna do? That's 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 a problem, right? But when the people start to explaining like that, they're like, okay, you need to understand how the criminals are working deeply to understand how the criminals are working. That's why it doesn't really take care about your security or your EDR or your whatever. If someone do a click, that's something explained very well, Kevin Minnick, most of the time, because he's really taking care about this, right? Because it doesn't matter how many money you spend in your platform. If you have someone behind uh, get hit a click inside of their phishing. But today we are need to be more worried about that, not only in the phishing, because phishing, you have many tools today. You can do broken links or whatever in your platform. You have Microsoft security, where you can send a link and it's broken the link, and do something like that. Because for the criminals, it's easy to create a hyperlink behind, and you cannot see the real direction. It's easy. But what happened with this phishing? How many companies you have the platform, your mobile devices in the platform? Not many. That's the scope. And if I make you the question, how many companies is having a security plan for phishing? That means someone call you with a fake with a fake phrase or something like that. Not many. And that's the future. Then how do you take care about that? Like, most of the companies have the recovery plans and this, but no one talk about that, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's really a good point you bring up. Like, we have to understand the cyber criminals and what are the threat actors doing, and that's not really talked about enough, like you said. But my question to you is, how can someone learn about cybercrime? How can they learn about what the cyber criminals are doing? Because the traditional training, such as certifications, they don't really cover like cybercrime unless you're doing like specifically threat intelligence. They don't really talk about what the cyber criminals are doing in the modern day. And college definitely isn't talking about that. They'll kind of give you an overview of like, oh, like an advanced persistent threat is a nation state actor. An hacktivist is someone who has an agenda, a political agenda that they want to push, or a cyber criminal is in it for the money. But it doesn't really go anywhere deeper than that. How can someone go deeper into cyber crime and learn to how the threat actors are working and how they can apply that into like their organization?
Mhm. That's a really good question, Kaiser, because that's something I try to explain to the companies always when I go to the cons, to the conference, and I go and I share my presentation about that. It's always rejected, because this is like, no, this is script kiddies. This is script kiddies. It's true, but these script kiddies are fucking on your company. And that's a terrible thing. That's true. And then the first you start to understand how the criminals are working. That's the first step to understand how you can protect your company. First of all, you can do like a adversary simulation. Most of the companies are running pen testing programs, but like you are a professional pen tester. But how many companies do you know, because you was working before, have adversarial emulation plans? And when I say adversarial emulation, only I don't send you, okay, we're going to send the phishing and we're going to see what happened. No, I want to find someone working in your company. I want to go there and I want to send a message for LinkedIn. And I want to say to that person, hey, I can send you a email. This email have a ransomware. Your company don't gonna know nothing, and I will pay you $5,000. How your company gonna protect about that? The only way is trying, right? And how you can know, or how do you know this is happening? Because someone is inside of this world and is explaining you what happened behind the scenes, But we need to start to open doors to that person. It's inside of this world, because most of the time it's like, no, because you are promoting the crime. Sorry, but I am not promoting the crime. That's why I come here to explain you, because I am not a criminal. I want you can take care about that, because that person today opened a link and stole the money of the account. Can be your company, but tomorrow can be my mom or your mom, right? And that's terrible. That's a terrible thing, How many, the good thing is, like, my family, I really teach my family to understand, my position is it's complicated. Maybe some companies want something about me, because when you are working in this world, some people contact and maybe can do something, because most of the time my LinkedIn account is trying to be stolen and getting emails most of the time. And because I am inside of this world, and I come to explain this to the people, and some people don't really like it, because I open the door to understand how the criminals are working. If more people know how the criminals are working, more people really take care about how to take care about that, right? And don't really like it. And one of the things, like, my family get emails or get messages, hey mom, I don't have my phone, can you call me here? And I always explain to my family, don't use these links, don't contact with no one, don't open any WhatsApp, it's not mine, don't open any Telegram, don't touch nothing if you don't talk with me before, and call me, and we have a word, right? Sentence for us, we know. And that's something that I do with my family. How many companies have this? Not many. And
Right.
that then we need to start from the beginning. Like, before, to understand how the criminals are working, we need to create the base. And the base explain to the people how you can take care of your company, how you can take care in this case, and what's going to happen when this happens, And a few days ago, I did an interview with a guy, Abdullah. I don't remember very well how to explain. He is a adversarial emulation professional, and he have platforms where you can use this adversary, and you have adversarial emulation from APT, Russians. You have adversarial emulation from China, and this is like creating like the malware, put in your company, and see what happens. Because the only way to know it is that they're like, Kyser, how many companies say, no, I have my data very well stored? I say, you always try to put a ransomware in your company to see what happens? Never.
Yeah.
Why? Because you are afraid of of the results, right? But I believe you will be more afraid the day that's happened truly, right?
Yeah.
Yes or not? Imagine someone to call you like, we lose most of the information. Okay, you can recover the backup. Where is the backup? In the server, right? That's a typical one.
Yeah. Back up to the server. That's funny. So you say that we gotta emulate threat actors and to really prepare for this stuff, which is really good advice. But when I think of threat actor emulation, I think of red teaming. Is there other ways that's not red teaming that companies can be doing to emulate threat actors? Because red team assessments are very expensive, especially for small organizations. They're not going to be able to afford like a real red team engagement. What are some other ways that they can do to emulate threat actors that isn't a full blown red team engagement?
That's a really good question. One, you know, uh, why your EDR it's or your antivirus is able to catch the virus, because someone put this virus in a database and is saying this is a virus, right? Okay. And what's going to happen if someone is using a virus? It's not in any platform, in any database. And for do this, you have software. very easy. In Windows, it's 2 clicks. You take the malware, you put in the software, camouflage, and you have a new X file or PDF where you can use it. That's easy. Everyone can do it like that. Like a 5 years old kid can do this, and most of the companies don't know that, right? Then that's a good point for understand where you can start from the beginning and say, okay, the first thing is understand. I don't need to touch here. I need to understand, and the most important thing is like understand your company. If it's not hacked, it will be, right, because most of the companies is hacked and doesn't know it. Because I'm going to give you something like very 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 dangerous thing that many people know. You know how the threat actors most of the times is, people say, hi, hey, how someone stole my password. If I didn't play any button, I didn't use anything. It's like totally legit software, because most of the criminals have money, and with the money you can buy things. And then you can go to the typical application. What 1 million, 10 million people are using, like a video game, typical bubble game or whatever. And you can say, hey, you put this source code in that version. And if someone check this source code, this is not a malware, it's everything. But in the next version, you put this another source code, and this it's also nothing. But the third version, if you put all the dots together, this is a malware, right? But who in Google gonna take care and check like if it is working with the other, like do the dots union? No one. Then you have a you have a data, something can store the data of your phone or your device or your cookies or everything from your device during 15 days in your device. But the next update, you remove this you did. Who gonna know? Nothing. This is how the most of the ransomware are more of the info stealers are working. Because maybe you play, most of the companies, these video games is not making a lot of money because only taking 1 cent for the usage of the people for the ads, and it's not a lot of money. Then if you pay 5,000 or 10,000, how much the people are going to pay you for a database of 10 million devices infected in the dark web? I can tell you around 100,000, 200,000. Then how you can trade, how you can protect about that? I believe it's impossible.
Yeah, it's really hard.
I,
Go ahead.
and yeah, and taking and coming back to your question before, is like how, because this is the beginning of the question, like why I need to waste my time doing pen testing when I can put for $5,000 ransomware in 10 million devices.
That's a good
Why?
point.
Exactly. Why I'm going to waste my time trying to find SQL injection reflected or stored or whatever you want prefer to say in a website when I can pay $400 to someone from India and give me the access to the database? Why I need to waste my time trying to find a stored XSS when I can do AdSense with your clone of your website with a good AdSense? And when the people go to your company and say, oh, I need to log in the front page, go to login in AdSense is the first one. Access is the same website. No one really take care, and you get the user and password, and also the multi-factor authentication. Because you get us later, you're going to take the cookie, and when you have the cookie, the cookie sometimes is like 15 days, or in the best of scenarios, many companies are like never expire the cookie, maybe 1 year or something like that, and that means you have access to the platform 1 year. Then pen testing is really really good tool. I really love pen testing, but we need to understand criminals don't want to waste the time there, because you have ways to do it easiest that one. And the people think, okay, it's very difficult to arrive to this software, or it's very difficult. It's not difficult. You only need to go to Telegram. You have Telegram groups where you can buy, and you can buy this software as a server, or ransomware as a server, and you can pay like, you have different. For example, Raccoon. Do you know Raccoon is very famous info stealer? This is around $100 to $150 monthly, and you get your dates, because these people from Raccoon is doing your dates, because the same I mentioned you before, you don't want to put all your eggs in the same basket, because if later you need to do the money laundering and clean the money, and this is the difficult part. It's easy if you find many people can do it, and later you handle that, and maybe I get only the percentage, but you have also groups of criminals pay you for go inside of the group and give you all the things, because depending on the country you are, it's easier, right? That's why many companies is moving to different locations, because you don't have Interpol. For example, Taiwan, I believe, doesn't have Interpol. Then you are able to do whatever you want to do there. Or few days ago, one friend of mine, because I was living in Thailand, because I really like to study this, and one of the things I was living in Thailand is try to study this war. And you know what? Doing one of the people, it's going to Cambodia, because it's just a border, and then you buy the SIM cards there. When you buy the SIM cards, you move to the border, you enter to Thailand. No one knows, because this SIM card doesn't have KEC or something, like it's totally free. You go to buy whatever, okay, and then you buy 100 or 200 SIM cards. You don't need to buy it. You go to the people and say, hey, can you buy this SIM card for me? It's like $5. I pay you $6 or $7, and someone do it for you. And when you have the 100 or 200 SIM cards, you can hear me?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Sorry. You take the SIM card, you move to another country, and you have the same connection, because you are able to arrive to the antenna from another country, because the border is something physical. We put it, but the border doesn't. The antenna doesn't know if you are here or you are 100 meters at the front, right? And you are able to do like scam callings. And if someone is trying to follow the SIM card from where it's getting, whatever, it's so hard, because you bought this SIM card from many different people, many different locations, and you are also in another country. Then it's easy, right? Like the same I mentioned you before, like criminals don't want to waste time doing difficult stuff. That's why 70% of the infections come from phishing, because phishing, and do you know, also many people still get trapped or get hooked by the Nigerian prince, or Niger, that where the people spend the money, but it's still working in 2024. It's like crazy, right?
It
But
does.
and I did some investigation. It was so funny. Someday someone sent me a message, like an email. We hacked your computer. We have all your pictures. We have everything. You need to send this money to this Bitcoin account. Okay, I have the Bitcoin account, and I use my Maltego to do investigation of the Bitcoin account. This Bitcoin account, in the last 72 hours, get it, I believe, around $7,000 and $8,000, because some people is sending the money. Imagine how crazy it is, how much you need to work to get $7,000. These people is getting $7,000 in 72 hours, only 72 hours. And this email, because I believe like maybe it's using a different number for Bitcoin numbers. Like, imagine why do you need to do pen testing when you can do mailing? Right?
Yeah. All right, Albert. Well, man, that was a lot of insights and information you just gave to me and the audience. Unfortunately, we don't have enough time for the final question I normally like to ask everyone, which is additional cybersecurity hot takes and hidden wisdom. But you had so many hot takes and hidden wisdom in this episode that I think it qualifies for the final question. So the last question here is going to be, where can the audience get a hold of you if they want to connect with you?
Do you have my? One of the things, maybe I don't know how many time we need more, we have more.
Yeah, usually, about we're running out of time now. Unfortunately, I keep my podcast episodes are generally shorter.
Okay,
I
I
try
will
to
do
keep them under
shorter.
40 minutes.
Okay, guys, so I will try to do short as possible. The first thing, like many times the people are looking for when you are in this world, like you hear people like me, you hear people like you, like wow, I want to contact with with that person. Most of the time it's important to find a mentor in your career for help you and try to find that. And that's why I created Cyber Mentor Institute, where you can find me there. Yeah, I have my profile, and you can find more professionals like me there, and you can contact there. Cybermentor.institute. We can put if you want in the in the episode notes. If not, I also have LinkedIn or my Twitter or account X now, and whatever. Most of the people can find me there. And always my doors are open for try to help someone is looking for this information or whatever, and also my podcast.
Great. And audience, best place to reach me is my LinkedIn and my website, kyserclark.com. Audience, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of this one. This one was packed with a lot of information. And thank you so much, Albert, for bringing in your wisdom onto the Hacker's Cache. Really do appreciate your time and attention to this episode. Audience, if you haven't shared the show, if you haven't shared the podcast yet with your friends, please do so. That would help out the show tremendously. And hopefully I see you on the next episode. So until then, this is Kyser signing off.